Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Energy, Society, and the Middle East. I am enjoying your response papers and your discussion forum contributions. This is just a short video to distinguish and disambiguate these three terms which are consistently sort of confused in the popular imagination and media, and sometimes confused in your work as well. So I'd like to just quickly define them so as to give everyone a clear idea of what is, one, the Arab world, right? And it's basically all countries that speak Arabic. That's it. If you live in a country and their first language is Arabic, you're in part of the Arab world, you're in an Arabic-speaking country, the people there are Arabs, etc. The second term is Middle East and North Africa, or just Middle East, or Greater Middle East. Sometimes Middle East and North Africa is called the MENA region as an abbreviation. This refers to the Middle East, which is not that well defined, but is otherwise well understood, and North Africa, similar as well. I'll show you some maps in a second. And the people, of course, that live there are a mix of different languages, religions, etc. They're not all Arab. And finally, of course, we have the Muslim world, or Muslim majority countries, or Islamic world, anything that sounds like that. This is the largest of the three, and it's countries which have a Muslim majority. So if you live in a country and the majority of people there are Muslim, or the majority of society is Muslim, you're in part of the Muslim world, or Muslim majority country, etc. Let me show you some maps to make sure we're all on the same page. So here, forgive me, you have here a map of the Arab world, or Arabic-speaking countries. All these countries here, as far east as sort of Oman and the Emirates and Iraq, and as far west as Mauritania and Morocco, these guys speak Arabic with different dialects, with different sort of intensity, very different sort of ethnic, and maybe even some different cultural background. Those of us who have traveled to the region know that. And as far north, of course, as Iraq and Syria, and as far south as parts of Somalia, and even parts of, you'll find other countries, Niger and Chad, you'll find people here who speak Arabic. So again, the Arab world refers to those countries that speak Arabic. It is a linguistic marker. Here's a map of North Africa and the Middle East, or Middle East and North Africa. You have to sort of carve it out yourself. It's not well defined, but typically Turkey, Iran, the sort of large boot you see over here, which is the Arabian Peninsula, the central Middle East over here, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, and North Africa from Egypt and Sudan going westward all the way till Mauritania and Morocco. This is generally understood to be the Middle East and North Africa, going into, again, parts of Central Asia to Afghanistan, sharing a cultural sphere. The Middle East is not well defined. It's a term that was sort of coined by colonial interests, not by the people living on the ground, and it refers to a very diverse group of people that are united maybe through culture more than anything else. They have different languages, religions, cultural norms, but they do share some certain sort of cultural heritage and history as well. Okay? Finally, here we have so-called Muslim world, or Muslim majority countries. This is an old map. It's a classic. You can see here in green, looking in light green is sort of the Sunni majority countries, and dark green the Shia majority countries. So that's the largest of the three sort of categories that I've introduced here. It includes much of sort of northern Africa and the central lands of the Middle East and Central and South Asia, as well as parts of Europe here, especially southeastern Europe. Okay, so that's a quick rundown for what these three terms are: Arab world, Middle East, and North Africa, and finally the Muslim or Islamic world. And just to sort of relate it to some of the things we're talking about, here's just a map, one of many maps that are very informative for our class. Of course, we study how energy and culture are sort of tangoing with one another. We have a world map here of crude oil exports. Now, oil production is not the same thing as oil export. The largest oil producer in 2018 is the United States. The largest oil exporter is Saudi Arabia. So if you look at oil exports, how much oil is sort of, exchanging hands internationally, Saudi Arabia has a really big market share, with Russia, and then sort of Iraq and UAE. You can see kind of smaller Middle Eastern countries having a very big role here to play. Iran as well, which is why, of course, the region is very important and sometimes problematic. Okay, that's a quick rundown, and we will suffice for now with that summary. Thank you.